Thank you, Senator. Senator Blackburn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all for being here. Mr. Duva, I do want to come to you. You know, I've got to tell you, I find it so curious that my colleagues across the dais are so concerned about weaponization, but under Jack Smith, they weren't concerned at all. And indeed, some of us were targeted by Jack Smith as a special counsel and with Arctic Frost. And ending 2 tiers of justice is something that A.G. Bondi has talked about. Having that 1 tier of justice in equal treatment is something that has been discussed. So as you're looking at this new role in the criminal division, I want you to talk for a moment about what you will do to end weaponization of our legal system.
Thank you, Senator Blackburn, and thank you for taking time to speak with me yesterday. I really enjoyed our meeting. The term weaponization is used quite a bit, and I think as a career prosecutor and in the criminal division, our litigating components with the trial attorneys, that you do what we've talked about, and every referral, every matter that's brought in by a law enforcement officer, it starts somewhere. And to begin a public corruption investigation or a nationwide fraud investigation or an international drug trafficking investigation, you have to have articulable facts and predication. You can't just start it because you feel like it. You don't start it based on a person because you don't like them. That is weaponization. You start based on the facts. This thing, we believe, we have these articulable facts have occurred. And then you go to the statutes and you begin your grand jury process with your grand jury subpoenas, and you work your way up to probable cause, whether it be a search warrant for electronic devices or whatever the case may be, a physical location. So there's a process that you go through and that I've become an expert in handling grand jury investigations. And there's so much value in that. You learn so much about your case from the grand jurors. Every grand jury that I've presented before, they have, at the end of it, they have thanked me for the scope and the breadth of the investigations that I've been involved in. So we're going to do it the tried and true way, Senator.
Yes.
We're going to evaluate the facts and apply those facts to the law and make charging decisions.
Well, I hope that that will provide some solace to my friends across the dais, because that is not what took place under the Biden administration, and we saw it time and again. And of course, some of us are living it. So thank you for that approach. I also want to talk about Memphis. Now, we have Memphis Safe Task Force that is in place, and I'm very grateful to Director Patel and A.G. Bondi and President Trump for the way they have approached dealing with crime in Memphis. Now, since the start of operations with the task force in September, we've had nearly 1,200 arrests. They have seized 200 illegal guns, 63 missing children have been rescued, and you've got gang members that are now off the streets, which is great. So one of the things we are focused on now is making certain that we get these cases into court. So I would like for you to talk a little bit about what you can do to ensure that we have rigorous prosecutions in these cases that are coming to us out of Memphis.
Thank you, Senator Blackburn. I've lived that, but I've lived it in Florida in our Ocala division. I worked with DEA in Gainesville for 10 years, and there was a task force down in Ocala named the UDES, the Unified Drug Enforcement Strike Force. So task forces are important because oftentimes those state and local officers have excellent informants. They have cooperating defendants, and you start there to build your multi-defendant cases. And I've always said this, multi-defendant drug cases solve gun violence and homicide problems. They go hand in hand. The tools of the drug trade are firearms. So I'm glad to hear that there's been great success in Memphis. I look forward to working with the dangerous drug section, the money laundering section, which I know is going to be put together, to partnering with districts in Tennessee and throughout the country to evaluate and solve those problems. I've done it myself. I've seen the results, and the communities are very thankful when that occurs.
I have one other question, but in the interest of time, I will send that to you as a QFR. We talked briefly about romance scams and the money that is being taken from many of our seniors, about $1.3 billion a year. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Rono.